Hi there, Money Magnets. Welcome back to our Money Magnet podcast, your trusted space for simple, practical financial empowerment. I'm Alex.
And I'm Anna, and I didn't expect this podcast at all this morning. I forgot, Alex. I am terribly sorry, but it is true. This is where we are at in this season, so welcome to our lives.
Yes.
It actually works quite well because it's reflecting on what South Africans, and clearly us, are feeling during this time of the season. We are getting close to the end of the year. We are a little exhausted. You know, Black Friday is coming up. Of course, Christmas is coming up. And with that, a lot of spending. So yeah, forgive us for feeling the season.
So today, we're going to break down how debt grows during the December season and how that leads to genuine worry, which we all love to avoid because we all know that feeling of starting the year with worries and dread and stress, and it's never a good way to start a year, let's be honest.
No.
And the unfortunate truth is that women are usually hit harder when it comes to creating debt. So we're going to talk about the exact numbers, what to avoid, 8 traps to be precise, and also 8 ways to be good this month.
Good.
Yes. And still have fun while being good.
Yeah, think about it like naughty but nice. Plus, we will be unpacking emotional spending so that you are not going into January with a lot of worries. We want you to really get there and be prepared and just have tools in your hand to not have January at all. Please don't forget, we are not financial advisors, so just think of us as your buddies that will help you to get a reset done right so that you are not hit in an unfavorable way in January.
So let's see what's really happening out there. Because according to the NCR's Consumer Credit Market Report for the last quarter of 2024, the total value of new credits given to South Africans rose to nearly 160 billion rand. Yes, it's a huge number because that's also a 10.5% increase from the previous quarter, which is huge.
That's a lot.
And also, not just that, it's a 7.1% increase from the previous year as well.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of money.
Absolutely. So that means the total amount of debt that South Africans have last year at that time was 2.4 trillion. That is trillion with a T, rand. And that's just, how many zeros is that?
I don't know. That's
16,
always,
I think. 12 or 16 numbers.
See, she knows
It's
that.
huge.
Like for me, like anything past 1 million, I no longer can imagine. It's like literally like my mind is like, ooh, it does.
Yeah.
It does that. It gobbles it. So, it's
Right.
a lot of money. And
Yes.
you probably owing some of that as well.
Yes, because it's about every 4th South African has consumer debt.
Yeah.
It's huge.
That's a lot of people.
And, that number usually spikes around the crazy season, the silly season, now, December. And, so
November, December, to be precise, because let's face it, Black Friday is part of this.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. And the report furthermore actually says that nearly 30% of those consumers that you've just mentioned already are previously impaired. So that means that they already are having debt. That is piling debt on debt. So it's credit on credit on credit, meaning you are going down the spiral. And when we're speaking about compounding interest, there can be a negative effect. This is exactly that.
And it shows in the retail figures as well. Reuters, for example, reported that South African retail numbers are up by 3.1% from 2023 to 2024. And we can expect an increase this year as well. And it's usually due to festive shopping.
Yeah.
ShopRite, Pick n Pay both reported record Black Friday numbers. And Pick n Pay even shifted their focus to essential staples on Black Friday to attract conscious, like budget conscious shoppers.
Yeah.
So almost everyone is spending on Black Friday and during the festive season. And the worst part is that, people are borrowing money to spend.
Yeah. So essentially what that means, people are not just buying, they're also borrowing. And that is quite concerning because credit cards are at a record high in the interest that they have, 19 to 20.5% annual percentage points. That's a crazy high number.
Yeah.
Just, if you're already paying interest on a mortgage, like 10% is high, double that. Yeah, that is credit card interest. And that's just for you having the opportunity to purchase something. And then there is, of course, buy now, pay later. Buy now, pay later doesn't necessarily have credit card interest, but if you don't hit the agreed on numbers, if you don't spend or pay back on time, the interest can also be quite juicy if you have to, make rearrangements or something. So that can hit you quite hard as well.
I have used buy now, pay later.
Yes, with your washing machine, huh?
Yes, exactly, with the washing machine. So, but for me, it's always only if there's a 0% interest on it. Otherwise, I'll pay straight away. And also, I have to make sure that I actually have that money. If I feel listen, I'll make a plan later, no, then you can't afford it. I only do that if I know okay, cool, I actually do have that money, but I'd like to use it because that money sitting in my account gives me interest.
Yeah, I think both Alex and I have an unpopular opinion about debt. It does feel like freaking modern slavery. And the moment you are freeing yourself of debt, you're out of a sudden oh my God, I have so much more money now.
Exactly. So make use of purchase now, pay later, but only if you actually do have that money.
Yes.
And not if you have to make a plan later.
So Alex had a safety fund and she could have used it, but she was okay, if I don't have to use all of this now, I don't have to refund my safety fund, which then led for her to, okay, cool. I'm using this opportunity because I have more time while my safety fund earns interest to gather the money that I need for the washing machine. I really love that principle. It's stuck in my head, actually. If we run that as an example, you just say, okay, I'm using 1,000 Rand on my credit card. In March, that could be easily 1,220 Rand because, the credit is building up. So, if you can avoid it, don't use it. If you have to use your credit card for whatever reason, make sure that you're actually paying it back as quickly as possible because the interest is sky high. Same counts for buy now, pay later. If you have 1,000 Rand and then you don't make your payments, the fees that are coming into play might easily be the same as a credit card interest, and then you have to pay late fees. 50, 100 Rand, whatever it is. Just don't do it. Just don't be tempted because you're basically putting your future purchasing power and giving it away to banks.
Pretty much, yeah. And that's exactly how the silly season becomes the stressful season.
And that's why you have January. So, it's basically in your hands to avoid it. And that's what we're trying to, bring across. All right, it's time to show you those 8 traps that are, that can drain your wallet. Especially women in South Africa face more challenges like festive season challenges, of course, school fees, emotional spending, and so on. So let's talk about the 8 traps and how to avoid them, of course. Impulse buys, that will be probably the most tricky one. Let's say, you have a Woolies card and you're okay, it's just for this once, because it's now Christmas, you want to have the festive roast out of a sudden, which you can have, don't worry, but make sure you're actually budgeting for it so that you don't have an impulse buy. It's not just this once.
Yeah, the other one is like we already mentioned, the buy now, pay later trap. And if you use it, like I said, look very closely at the conditions, because if you don't repay it in time, then there will be late fees, there will be interest, and so on and so forth.
Nip in the bud. Exactly.
So only ever use them if you really know what you're doing.
And the next one is, of course, family pressure. It's real. during the festive seasons, you know, your kids want presents, they want big purchases. You know, that is a real stress factor, and it can be peer pressure.
And then of course there's the credit card interest. If you forget that you spent 1,000, 2,000 on your credit card and you know don't really have the money to pay it back, that interest creeps up quite a bit. So 1,000 could be 3 months later 1,200.
Yes.
And then ask yourself, would you have been willing to pay 1,200 for the item that you bought?
Yeah. And then there is fake deals. I think like that's a big one as well. Like a lot of people think, oh yeah, Black Friday deals are amazing. And then actually if they would have checked on Price Check a week or two before, they would have realized they pay the same price since it is no bargain to be made. So actually educate yourself.
And then of course there's our favorite pet peeve, which is emotional spending.
It's real.
It is. For me, to be honest, it's not things. I don't care much about things. But for me, it's like the coffee, the croissant, the milkshake, whatever. Like, I just love to sit down in a restaurant or in a coffee place and just like, you know, work on my laptop and have a little bit here. And like, you know what, the dessert looks so lovely. That is my emotional spending habit because it makes me feel better.
Yeah.
It tastes delicious. And unfortunately, that also costs you a lot of money. Whether it is food, takeaway food, or if it's a clothing item or, you know, some new decoration for your home.
It might be different to everyone, so just evaluate where you have emotional spending gaps and then see what you can do about it.
Yeah, and about, I think 40% of all shoppers admit to feeling better after shopping.
Why do you think they put the dessert or like, you know, Snickers Snackers aisle right in front of the the counter? Like, because you're like, oh, I wanted chocolate. Yeah. And then you put it in your basket.
So impulse buying and emotional shopping go very much hand in hand. And it's just two things to really look out for.
Yeah.
And always ask yourself, do you really need it or do I want it? That's the biggest question to ask yourself when it comes to emotional spending. Yeah. Do I really need it or do I want it?
Yeah, it's a need or a want, and like especially if it's anything over a certain amount, you can wait a little bit. Yeah, and then there's of course FOMO. Like the fear of missing out is real. With Black Friday, I had it multiple times that I was like, okay, I will not spend, and then get those offers rolling in, and you're like, it's one day only, and then of course you forgot that there's Cyber Monday and whatnot. But you know, they marketing really knows how to build up that pressure and keep it going so that you feel you are missing out.
Yeah. And then of course, last but not least, we have the not having a plan for January repayments. Over 50% of consumers fail to budget for the repayments because your salary didn't go up in the coming year, you know. So you still need to be able to repay all of that, and if you don't, here comes the interest.
Yes.
So do plan. Don't just make a budget for December, make a budget for January as well.
Yes. Or even better, don't spend what you don't have.
Yes.
We kind of like touched on how to flip those traps already into little wins, but let's go deeper into it. You can cap your numbers. I think that's a really good one. Like if you have, we don't say you can't spend any money on Black Friday or Christmas. Like we get it. We all want to spend our money. That's what we're working for. But cap it. You know, say like I have a 3,000 Rand cap. And then you don't spend more if you spend for Black Friday or for Christmas. Like just have a cap. Make sure that this is it. It's really simple. You can even use the envelope method. I like that one. Yeah.
How exactly does it work?
You basically take your 3,000 Rand. If you think of like gifts or something, you put them in and say like, this is 1,000 Rand for this person, this is 1,000 Rand for this person, this is 1,000 Rand for that person. You
Makes sense.
Make it similar to that for you. But if you withdraw the money actively and have it in a wallet, like or in an envelope, you can't spend more. That's it.
That is true. Just make sure that the shop you're going to accepts cash.
If they don't, you've saved 3,000 Rand.
And adding on to that with fix number 3, because you already did 2,
Sorry.
is to wait. Like I said, is it something you really need or something you want? And if you can't really answer that question for yourself in that very moment, because you really want it, and you can convince yourself very easily that this is a need, like you need that Caribbean mocha because it tastes delicious.
Okay.
My point is, wait.
Yes.
If it's not food, you can wait for 24 hours and then sleep over it. I mean, we all have that saying, sleep on something. It makes sense, because then you'll be like, okay, sounded lovely, but I actually don't need it. Or that person, is it really the right gift for that person? Maybe not, you know? So just waiting for 24 hours can make a huge difference to your wallet and also finding the right kind of gifts.
Yeah, what Alex is touching here on is also a bit of decision-making fatigue. You know, if you're going through the day, we have a certain amount of decisions that we can make. That's why you can see certain people like just wearing the same clothes, so that they don't have to make that decision. But when you wear down over the day, it sometimes is very easy to give into needs that feel like needs, that are not needs. Because you're decision fatigued.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that? You're hungry and you're going shopping, you're going to spend more. Trust me, you're going to spend more. Don't go shopping hungry. But this is what Alex is touching on. And if you are taking 24 hours, you are replenishing your decision-making time, and then you are actually able to make more positive decisions again.
But having said that, it does not mean that you can't have wants.
Yes.
But, you know, limit those wants. For Black Friday, make a list. All the things that you actually need and the things that you want, that you feel you deserve, and limit that number. Make it 1, 2, 3, depending on what your budget is, and then go bargain hunting for it. But, you know, just with your budget, cap that number.
Yeah. And an easy way of dealing with that is to just block buy now, pay later. There is apps that offer that, just don't use them. It's actually fairly simple. If you don't have access to them, you can't make use of them, and therefore you're not tempted. You can, instead of this, use a cashback credit card. Yeah, some of them actually give you cashback rewards for using them, and then that would make sense to rather use that and get some money back.
Who exactly offers that?
I actually never used it, but Discovery, I believe, is using it. Momentum is using it as well, but it's paying into your health saver. So you basically are being rewarded for certain purchases, and then if you are a conscious customer, you get 15% back. Yeah, so my Momentum card, like I'm part of a loyalty program, actually gives that back to me. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to Christmas, I mean, if you have small kids, different story. But if you're all like teenager and grown-ups, you know, gifting is a lovely thing to do. But these days, I often feel like we just gift for the sake of giving a gift, not because the person actually needs it or wants it, or, you know, we all have a pile of unwanted gifts at home that we just repurpose by gifting it to someone else. And
she has not said that out loud. Don't worry, your gifts are safe.
No, if I want something in my family, if any of us want something for Christmas, we go like, listen, I need this, and that.
Oh, really?
And that is what we will get for Christmas. So the surprises are usually quite low. There will be the occasional, oh, that's so sweet, didn't expect that. But
socks again.
No, don't get me wrong. I want socks for Christmas. I usually go for like, okay, my socks have holes now, so my sister often gives me socks because I ask for them.
That's such a Christmas gift, actually. I love it.
It's useful. I want useful things.
You have to remember we are Germans, so like socks in winter is a very purposeful gift.
Yes. But if you don't do that, and if you have a big family, then how about Secret Santa?
Yeah.
Just make sure that everyone sticks to a certain limit, cap it 200, 300, whatever your family's budget is like, and then pick the way Secret Santa works is like you get a big nice pot with lots of little papers in it, and every person puts their name in that big pot, and then every person draws one other name. So you buy one gift for one other person, and that also, there's a limit, and then it gives you time, and also just you can think about what that person would actually appreciate, instead of having to, okay, what does person A, B, C, D, E, F, and so on want. Then we enter into the whole decision-making fatigue zone again, and then they just all get a scented candle. There. But yeah. But if you only have one,
so pragmatic. I love it. She's not wrong. It's like.
But if you only have one person, you can actually think about like, okay, what are their hobbies? What are the likes, dislikes? What would they really appreciate? And that means just so much more.
Yeah.
Than a scented candle. Unless the lights.
Scented candle is nice. Yeah.
Yeah. There. Maybe. I don't know.
And of course there is spending alerts as well. You can have an app that gives you a spending alert. You can do that via your F&B app as well. I hate them, to be quite honest. It feels like I'm judged by a parent that's not my parent. It's my bank account telling me like, you overdid it. Bad girl. Now like, But it's true. It's still, you have to remind yourself, that's a reminder from yourself to yourself. And maybe that works, but the inner rebel in me is like, no, it's true.
Yeah, but think of it as future you helping now you.
Yes.
It's always how you frame it.
Exactly, and it also, like, you have to see what works for you and what doesn't. If it doesn't work for you, get rid of it. Clearly I haven't, because, it does remind you of slowing down. But I just think of it like, okay, is this working for you? Doing this time of reflection is a good way to progress as well. Yeah.
And last but not least, like we said, you might go into debt. So it is a good thing to also prepare for it.
Yes.
There are two methods of repaying your debt. The one is called the snowball method, and the other one's called the avalanche method.
But snow implications.
Yes.
I love it, actually.
Yeah, but it makes sense. I like snow. And so basically the way it works is with the snowball method, you start with the smallest debt, and then once that is repaid, you go on to the next one and next one.
Gross.
Yeah, so basically your debt shrinks, but the repayments themselves grow. And it's quite good psychologically, because you're like, yes, paid you off, paid you off, paid you off. So that is my personal favorite, because it just, to me, it makes sense. I like to tick things off a list. So
it gives you momentum. That's what Alex is saying.
Exactly. And then the avalanche method makes more sense financially, let's be honest. That means you start with the debt that has the highest interest, because in the end that's going to cost you the most money. So you pay that one off first, regardless of how big the debt is, and then you move on to the next one with the second highest interest.
That's the one I used.
Financially it makes sense, but it might take longer for you to pay something off, and then the momentum isn't there, and then it really depends on how your brain works.
Yeah, and what works for you. Like, we would really like to reiterate that all of these are just like helpful steps for you to deal with your life, but at the end, it is about your priorities and what you want to achieve. So if it's not working for you, rethink it.
Yeah. And it would be best to, just take some time between the holidays, like between Christmas and the 1st of January, when we're all just sitting there enjoying life, doing hopefully not much work, hopefully.
Chilling in the food coma section.
Yes, pretty much. Then, just take an hour and go through your bank statements, go through all kinds of debts that you might have, and just list them. So come January, you are prepared for your snowball or avalanche method, whichever one you decide to go with.
And I also like to add that if you've fallen down the debt trap, it's really a good way to start the year clean by actually forgiving yourself. It's okay to make money mistakes, if you even want to see them as money mistakes. Maybe it was something that you really needed, that you wanted to purchase, and then just, forgive yourself, see it as a lesson, move on, and make a plan to move on.
Absolutely. It always comes down to rephrasing things. And yes, we all like to beat ourselves up for mistakes we've made, but every single one of us has made mistakes in any area of our lives. So instead of seeing it as a mistake, it is a learning experience.
Yeah.
Some of them are more expensive than others, some of them are more painful than others, but it is a learning experience. And if you see it that way,
yeah, and you're not gonna move on by beating yourself up.
yeah, just pointless.
Yeah. All right, let's run you through a couple of examples. Let's say you are, you are a victim of spending during Black Friday, and out of a sudden you spend 8,000 rand, and then you have the highest interest rate, 22.5. Ouch, ouch, ouch. And then after 3 months, it's almost 10K. That's a lot of money.
It is.
And if you change it to, I have 2,000 rand in cash and that's the limit that I'm spending, then you get 3 gifts and you have 0 debt in the new year. That's a nice way of moving forward. It helps you also look at what you want to achieve. So if your goal is aligned with what you want to achieve, it's much, much easier to say, like, I'm not spending.
Another example would be Christmas spending. Black Friday is one thing, Christmas is another thing. And let's say you decided to go a little bit overboard and spend 4,500 on your credit card for random gifts, scented candles. And with all that interest piling up after 3 months, that is over 1,300 rand extra. And suddenly these are very expensive scented candles.
That poison your friends, by the way, so
Yes. So
we will actually link that. I think I will link the video that is relating to this so that you understand why I'm referring to that.
The whole point is always ask yourself, that item you want to buy costs 500 bucks. But if you knew that you would add on another 50, 60, 70, 80 rand, would you still buy it?
Correct.
Or would you then say, actually, that's a little bit too expensive for my liking? So that is what you need to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Again, rather use the envelope system, or, we no longer live really in a cash world. You can also just use a secondary savings account. Like most banks offer you free sub-accounts to your regular account.
So that's your envelopes then?
Yeah, pretty much. And then you're like, okay, cool, I'm only going to spend money that is in that account. And the thing is, you either have a card for that one account, and if you don't, you then need to transfer the money from that account into your regular account before you actually spend it.
Yeah.
And that, again, gives you just a moment of time to is that really what I want to do?
Yeah, it does.
So it saves you so much more, because that interest is just wasted money. Do you have any idea how many Caribbean mockers you could get for that lovely money?
I think we all understand now that debt is not great. We knew that before you started the video. But let's go a little bit into the psychology of things and why emotional spending is such a trap for us. So we want to explain it a little bit more so that you can protect yourself better. Because 40% of South Africans are victims of that. And actually, we both have been too. Yes, admit it.
Yes.
Admit it.
Pastel de nata. Okay, yes. I love certain sweet things.
She doesn't look it, but she loves a sweet treat.
I do. And, the quick fixes for this emotional urge to really buy this is pause.
Yeah.
Really pause. What I do, because quite often when I'm on tour with my guests, I have an hour to myself when the guests do their own little thing, and I sit in a coffee shop and I work on my laptop, and with that I often, want the nice stuff. But I also love my rooibos tea. And rooibos tea is so much cheaper than any other thing on the menu usually. That also looks delicious. So I just start working. And then when the waiter comes, I, just don't go through the menu and looking like, oh, they have this lovely smoothie and they have this and like fresh juices and all of that. I'm like, rooibos, just bring me a pot of rooibos. And, just having that moment to like, okay, cool, today I don't need a hot chocolate. I don't need that mocha. It's really needs. It's not needs, it's wants.
Yeah.
And yeah, rooibos will do the trick for me as well. So just have that moment to think about it and ask yourself, do I really need this mocha? Or will a pot of rooibos do?
I think it's also worth it to actually really evaluate if you are trying to fix anything, within yourself. Sometimes, you have a fight with someone and then you want to go out and then purchase something. So really try to evaluate where your wishes are coming from and what you're trying to fix with them, and if perhaps you rather looking at the root cause of it is a better way to deal with the problem than actually purchasing whatever is on the menu. And Alex is a tour guide. She hasn't said so, but not in this video, but she's a tour guide, and that's why.
Yes.
She is tempted to purchase more in a restaurant than other people are. So let's get you prepped. So you're saying, okay, I have a 3,000 spending cap for whatever it is. Then you do your research on what you really want or need. You go to pricecheck.coza and then evaluate if this is really a bargain or not. And then you cap yourself. You cap yourself like this is it. Like either do the envelope system, because a lot of people do still accept cash. But if you are, purchasing online, your system of moving it into your savings wallet that is easily accessible will do the trick.
Yeah. And obviously, make a concerted effort to only buy what you approved for yourself upfront. Whatever is on your list, only buy that. Yes, there will be lovely deals popping up.
She means now when Black Friday is hitting, that's,
Yeah, so really just spend what you said you would spend. And, spending alerts do work for some people.
Yeah.
And again, you have a big goal, like retiring when you're 50, 55, a dream holiday, putting down a deposit for your house and so on. And when that urge hits to like, ooh, look at that deal, then really ask yourself, are you willing to jeopardize your big
dream
savings goal, your big dream in the end? Or are you willing to wait another year before you achieve it? Yeah. So always compare it. Is buying whatever you want to buy now worth putting your big savings goal in jeopardy?
On hold, basically.
Yeah, just extending it.
Yes.
Takes longer.
If you have a big goal, it's helpful to even put it as a screensaver on your phone, because
I like that. I should be doing that. I don't do that. I like it.
It's super helpful, because then the moment you want to open up your app to make the purchase, your dream is looking right back at you like, no, yeah.
You know what? I'll do that. I like it.
Awesome. Already helped one customer. And then, of course, you have December, you are in an office, you can do the Secret Santa, or with your family, you can do the Secret Santa, you can draw names, you have spending caps for that, and it makes it more meaningful if you make it fun and gamify it for the family, for the office. You can make it really, really powerful. And it can be fun to have a small gift. It doesn't have to be something big, because this season is much, much more about giving time back to yourself. This is what saving can also be about. Valuating the things that truly matter, time with the family, time with the people that you love, being able to read a book, being able to hang out by the beach. These are all things that are not that expensive. So, point being is, make it fun, make it enjoyable for you, and what matters to you. I forgot, wrap your gifts by 15th of December. Okay, now we're really German about this. But if you do it early on, it can be there's less temptation for you to purchase something late. It's true.
It is. I've never ripped my gifts before the 23rd of December.
Okay, let's face it, it's probably not going to happen, but you could aim for sooner rather than later. Let's say that.
Yes, gift wrapping has always been like a last minute thing for me. But
Also not a fan.
let's be honest here, I have a little bit of a recycling thing. I do not like gift wrapping paper. It's terrible for the environment. So, newspaper it is. And, just pick an interesting article. So, please, that's one way of saving money. And also help the environment. If you can, use anything but actual gift wrapping paper to wrap your gifts.
I actually reuse gift bags often. I keep them in a special drawer. I fold them nicely away because, like Alex, it's not just about saving money there, but it's also about making sure that things are reused and not just once off.
Yeah, and then come next year, have your debt repayment plan in place. Very important. Game plan, pretty much. Gamify it, yes. And once you've repaid that debt, that is money you have left over in a way because you didn't need it or didn't use it for the other months either. So that is now money that you can save. And we have so many beautiful ways of saving money, and a must, and we can't stress this enough, is your tax-free savings account. Open one with any company that you feel happy with. And, don't just save the money in there. The name savings account is very much misleading. It's an investment account. So invested money in there because in the end, when you withdraw that money once you've retired, it's tax-free and it's amazing. So once you're done repaying your debt, move that money into your savings. So your goal can actually come closer to you instead of moving further away.
I'd like to add on here, there is tax-free savings accounts that just, do compounding. So they give you a straight interest rate. So if you have one of those, make sure that you move your funds. Don't withdraw them, but move them into an account like EasyEquities, like, what's the one that I sent you? Fynbos. New one, very cool. And then you actually have your tax-free savings that you can invest. And then you can use it for purchasing stocks or purchasing exchange-traded funds. Watch our TFSA tax-free savings account videos, a video one, if you want to have more information about that, because that elaborates all of that. But yes, this is one point that we didn't mention in there, that you actually can move the funds. So please don't withdraw. You can move them.
Very important. Do not withdraw.
All right, mini magnets, we hope that this episode has really helped you to understand yourself a little bit better, understand what your goals are, and then be able to refuel them with those methods that we gave you. So we really hope that this is hitting home and that is helping you to actually enjoy this season, because that is what it's all about, right, Alex?
Yeah, this season is really about, taking time off, taking a breather, spoiling yourself. But spoiling yourself does not mean spending money on yourself. It can just be like sitting there, reading a good book, lying on the beach, going for a hike, spending quality time with your friends and family. This is what it's really about for me, not about the gifts.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
No, I think it's really important. If you have a big goal that you want to achieve, it's such a fuel. It's such fuel for you to achieve that by not spending, and then really reflecting what you actually want in your life. And let's face it, a lot of us are exhausted at this time of the year. So you taking a step back and really reflecting on, where am I? What do I want to achieve? And how can I actually breathe and enjoy myself for a change, not just, push out and produce. And like, I think Alex and I we are slightly workaholics. And for us, this is really a time to take care of ourselves and fill our cup. So see that as a time to make sure that you are enabling yourself to do that, and by reflecting that is a way to move forward. Yeah, and we will be reflecting as well.
So yeah, please share this episode with any friend that you feel like suffers from emotional shopping,
Emotional spending need.
Yes, retail therapy.
Yes.
So, because that can be a gift as well. Just look at this, how to improve your finances.
Yeah.
And yeah, because
And like it, share it. These are the ways how you can support us, because we give a lot out there into this world. We hope it improves your lives, but you can improve ours by liking and sharing.
pretty much. And don't forget to join us next time, because you are a
Money magnet.